6:29. Wait till we tell soon. Oh, yes. That would be.
12:30.
Well, good evening, everyone. I would like to call this first council meeting to order at 6:30. And we'll start off with a moment of reflection. I'm looking for a confirmation of the agenda, and the motion reads that the council agenda dated May 20th, 2025 to approve this circular. Moved by Council Corby, second by Councilor Mark Bell. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Declaration of funerary service. Seeing none, we'll carry on. We have no closed session reports. So we have consent and I'd like to see anything discussed or moved. Councilor Mark?
6.12. And 6.22.
Would you like to discuss them now or later on?
Yeah, no, sounds good if you guys are good.
Well, 6.12.
So, now it doesn't seem like a fair time to discuss this without the mayor actually here, but I would like to sort of discuss the strong mayor powers at some point as a group and, a lot of municipalities back our intentions if we are going to use them or if we are going to, also send in the feelings against them. And I don't think tonight's necessarily the night for that discussion as a group without Sue, but.
No, what was that?
If I could speak to that, we, as a clerk through the county have been having some discussions. The, Ministry of Municipal Affairs just sent out an email today actually to, register, we could register for training on the implications of strong mayor powers. So I really haven't had a chance to digest the whole, legislative piece of it. So there will a full discussion so that council is more aware of the impact.
Do we have that on the agenda for next meeting then?
My session's on June the 2nd.
Oh,
so no.
okay. Yeah, a future date.
But it will be coming soon, so.
Okay, and 6.22.
So 6.22 speaks to the property assessment cycle and the pause that we've been in since 2016. And I echo what's said here. Working with a up-to-date assessment, and I would like to support them on this if council should please.
Good. Any further comments? Councilor Bell?
I had this one on my list to pull as well. I certainly support what Councilor Mark was saying.
Okay, it's all council in favor of supporting us first. Any motion or just direction?
Direction is good.
Okay, you don't have that for direction. Councilor Bell.
6.18.
Okay.
So this one speaks to the fact that the Provincial Climate Amendment Act of 2020 is tied to New York State. And at this point, I agree with this council that submitted the letter that I, for one, am in support of ending daylight savings time. It is antiquated in my opinion. And I don't think that we especially in this day and age, I don't think we should be tied to the US waiting to enact legislation on our own.
Other comments? Councilor Martin?
I would support that, simply from a health perspective, we know there's data on this, on, what daylight savings does to the health of our population, so.
And, with council approval, we'll give Lizette direction to support that? No? Okay. Further comments?
It's fine, I think it's fine the way it is, it's totally wrong. It doesn't matter at all, I mean, if that's what we're wasting our time on, daylight savings time. I can't believe for a second somebody gets stressed out. If that's all the stress they have in their life, they got a pretty good life.
Further comments or questions? So how do we handle that as a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got, moved by Councilor Jeff Bell, second by Councilor Martin, that we support, 6.18 Township of Montanarabi, South Mohan, then on daylight saving. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any other? Okay, with that, motion of the consent agenda items 6.1 to 6.22 with the exception of 6.12, 6.22, and 6.18 be received for information in the regular council minutes of May the 6th, 2025, and the special council minutes of May the 2nd, 2025 be adopted. Moved by Councilor Corrigan, second by Councilor Jeff Bell. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we'll move on to public meetings, hearings, and delegations. And a motion that the council meeting be hereby adjourned at 6 p.m. in order to convene a public meeting pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act concerning an application for zoning bylaw amendment for the property located at 2804 Road 134 in the Township of Perth South. Moved by Councilor Mark Bell, second by Councilor Jeff Bell. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Haley, welcome. Okay. So with this, the application is to propose zoning bylaw amendment specify conditions application B 10-25. And the property is described as park lot 21, concession called Downey Ward 2804 Road 134. Now I'll now ask the clerk to advise and confirm on the method and date of the notice given for this meeting.
Thank you, Jeff and Mayor Wilhelm. Notice was circulated by regular mail and a sign posted on the property as of April 30th, 2025, as required under the provisions of the Planning Act, as well as being posted at the website.
And I'll ask Haley to provide an overview of the application. Please.
Deputy Mayor and Councilors, I will be presenting zoning bylaw amendment 3-25 for lands municipally known as 2804 Road 134 in the Township of Perth. Next slide, please. The subject lands are located at the intersection of Road 134 and line 15. The surrounding properties are primarily used for agricultural purposes. The subject property is designated as natural resource environment. Additionally, the property is currently zoned agricultural and natural resource environment zone 2. Next slide, please. The subject application is required to satisfy a conditional consent application B 10-25, which received conditional approval on March 26, 2025 by Perth County to sever a surplus farm building as a result of consolidation of the remnant agricultural land with an existing agricultural operation. The subject application proposes to rezone the severed lands from agricultural zone to special agricultural zone A1 to permit an existing The the application also proposes to rezone the retained lands from agricultural zone A to special agricultural zone A-3 to prohibit any new residential development on the agricultural lands. Next slide, please. In light of the foregoing, it is the opinion of staff that the zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the provincial planning statement and conforms with the County of Perth official plan. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does the applicant or their agent wish to provide any information? Anyone? I will now ask the clerk to provide any comments received from the circulating agencies and landowners.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Comments were received from the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority. No objection.
Okay, thank you. Is there any person in attendance who wishes to make any comments regarding the application? All persons are to state their name and address for the minutes. Seeing none, do any council members have any questions regarding the application? Nope. Seeing as there was no comments made, I guess the applicant doesn't have to respond. Thank you to all those in attendance for their input, and council will consider all comments received when making its final decision on the application. At the public meeting pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act concerning the application for a zoning bylaw amendment for the property located at 2804 Road 134 be adjourned. Moved by Council Martin, second by Council Van Ness. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And a motion that the Township of Perth Council received a report dated May 20th, 2025, entitled Zoning Bylaw Amendment ZN3-2025, submitted by Woodland Farms, affecting lands prescribed as concession 12, part lot 21, municipally known as 2804, line 134, and that the town ZN3-2025. Moved by Councilor Mark Bell, second by Councilor Corby. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will move on. That takes care of that for you, Dave. Okay, Director of Public Works.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay.
That's it, go this way or that? Not tonight, maybe next one.
We're on all day.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
See you again.
Ken,
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor Wilhelm. My update report is in front of council. We're just getting started on our control and gravel. Been working on, some stuff at the Curtin, pool pavilion, starting to get that stuff ready. They're gonna do some painting on the floors this week. So hopefully get that, fixed up. If anybody has any questions on anything, I'd be happy to answer.
any questions from council? Councilor Mark Bell.
The standard of care training, did I miss that, or what's that about? You're number 3 on your list.
Yeah, there was standard of care training on Friday. I believe you weren't available.
Yeah, no,
So, but, Councilor Mark, or Jeff Bell was able to, take it, so.
Further question? Saying none, I have a motion. Director of Public Works, update report be received for information. Moved by Councilor Jeff Bell, seconded by Councilor Van Ness. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Drainage Superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you. Next report is, Scott's update report. If anybody has any questions, and try and answer.
Any questions on Scott's report? Okay, a motion that the drainage superintendent update report be received for information. Moved by Council Corbett, second by Council Marquell, all in favor, opposed, carried. And, I have a motion, we'll put the council on the floor, that the accounts payable listing dated May 14th, 2025, for the period of May 1st to May 14th, 2025, in the amount of $159,900.43 be approved. Motion put on the floor. Council Marquell, second by Council Martin. Questions? Councilor Bell.
There was, sorry. A soil test. Do we have that? Or do we get? See, it's the municipal style stuff here on.
I can answer that one. The soil test is not the best description for it. That is monitoring costs for the closed Kirkland landfill. So South Huron, yeah, we split the costs with them for it, so that's them billing us for our share of 2024 monitoring and maintenance costs.
Yes.
And these custodial, so I'm just wondering, further down in the accounts, there's custodial services done. I'm just wondering why these are in cash and not in the Kirkland list, I guess you'd call it.
Those are the cleaning costs that come in, late, so I had to set them up as an accrual. So, whatever they were being paid, it would have been clear to the accrued liabilities account as opposed to expense, because they were expensed in 2024.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where you're seeing them.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Saying none? All ready for the question? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Moving on with treasurer update.
Yeah, my report's in front of you, if there's any questions. Basically just, trying to get budget done, year end done, get my meetings done, put a handle on the questions, feel free.
Seeing none, we motion that the treasurer's update report be received for information. Moved by Councilor Chappell, second by Councilor Martin. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Move on. Year-end reserve transfers.
Through you, Deputy Mayor. So this is, basically an annual report that comes, to get council's permission to, transfer any surplus deficit from the non-tax levy, the user fee departments, water, streetlights, building. Also, council's approval to move whatever surplus deficit at the end of the year. And then this one, there's a couple other items that I'd like to defer. So in 2019, I believe it was, council decided that they were gonna have an annual line item for the wellness, 25,000. In 2024, it was not used. So I am proposing that we move that to, I defer it and move it to the 2025 budget. That'll take 25,000 off our operating budget that we're working on. And also, there's just over 22,000 in municipal drains that has use. Goes through them and makes a list of what drains he thinks are gonna come up. Some of them didn't get done, so I'm suggesting we defer that and use it for the 2025 line item. We've already raised taxes for those particular drains, so I don't wanna raise them again. And that's one of the things going forward with our operating budget that I'd like to propose, that we have standard amounts for these things, so Ken's not trying to guess what drains. We have a standard amount. If we go over, we use, if we go under, we transfer the drain through. So, so this report is just to get the council's approval to for the year-end surpluses, and then to defer those two line items for the 2025 operating budget.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Councilor Bell.
Are we gonna speak about this all at our meeting next time when we go through it, or? Cause I'd like to not have a wellness fund, so, I'd like to discuss, but we're gonna discuss all of that. I mean, I just don't wanna do something today that we can't undo at our budget meeting.
I'm hoping we'll discuss all our reserves at our June 6th meeting. is it?
Yeah, through Deputy Mayor. Yeah, I have to, I've been looking at the reserves and I need to sit with Lizette. I'm gonna get the bylaws, why these were set up, because if there's a reason, and then we can discuss them. There are certain ones we're gonna wanna keep, there's other ones we're gonna wanna combine. And as for deferring the wellness, it's either deferred or we take it right out of the budget, so I guess basically it's still gonna be a 0% impact on our 2025 budget going forward, so.
Right, just to share, that I spoke with the mayor today, who was interested in being part of any discussion about the wellness fund. So I just wanted to share that with the council, obviously in her absence, she just asked me to share that. The council do your wishes, but just asked me to share that message.
Which we can discuss in June 6th meeting if we just move it over to 2025. Okay. Councilor Bell.
To clarify, we didn't spend the money in 2024 on loans, even though we approved it.
You're, Mr. Chair, that's correct. So if you remember, the wellness fund came from ask from the hospital group.
Well,
Yeah, and the council was not settled in whether to commit to that contribution. And the discussion was about how there are other issues and initiatives in the community that might be worthy of support. Let's create this fund so that if there is a request that comes, there'll be some money set aside. Or if members are aware of community groups that could use the support initiating some form of wellness activities that could be used to fund them. Nobody asked, nobody came, the money sat there, so, and it wasn't contributed to the hospitals. And you might remember last fall, I believe, there was a group from the hospital that came and made a request, and it was deferred to the budget, and there's been no movement on it in terms of whether money should be carved out to commit to that contribution or not. Out there as a placeholder in the event there was some initiative. At the time, there was some interest in tractor talk. There was an agricultural industry initiative to try and support farmers going through stressful situations. Maybe that was part of the discussion, but it was never used.
Okay, further questions? Okay, I'll read the motion. The council of the Township of Perth receives the report of the Deputy CAO / Treasurer titled 2020 deferrals for information. And the council approves any 2024 operating surplus / deficit after the year-end audit is complete, be transferred to / from the working capital reserve. And that any surplus / deficit in the operating departments of water, streetlights, and building be transferred to the corresponding reserves. And that the unused 2024 wellness budget line item of $25,000 be deferred to the 2025 budget. And that the unused 2024 drainage budget of $22,459 be deferred to the 2025 budget. Moved by Councilor Court. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? carried. Okay, we'll move on to Lizette. Clerk's update.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. My first report is my update, and there's lots going on. I am definitely not bored. As indicated, there's lots of things happening. The Strong Mayors has legislation has definitely caused a lot of discussion, and I'm just sort of learning that information. Also, there's been a lot of drainage activity. I have 2 more reports on tonight's agenda. I have submitted the 2 appeals to the tribunal. I have not received any information back. It's been crickets for a couple of weeks, so I was hoping they could help me with this process a little more, especially now that we have a mail strike coming up. So we'll see how that goes. I'm working with our tax clerk, training him on payroll so that we have a backup person to do that. That job, it's something I took over a few years ago as to help out. Something very.
Good at it.
Well, no. Anyway, so that'll be good, William, at least we'll have some backup in the office for, that role. Yeah, if anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions for Lizette? I have one for you. Seeing as it appears that there's gonna be a mail strike Friday, our tax notices are due to go out.
No,
No, they go June,
they go at the end of,
the final ones.
yeah, it's end of August, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're due,
Okay.
so the first 2, were the end of February and the end of May, and then the next 2 are the end of September and the end of November.
So we have this Sunday.
Yeah, no, we're good for the tax.
Okay, that's good. Don't have to worry about that then.
Well, we have been having the discussions, with the planning, department, because that's gonna be a big impact on how we can circulate notice, because right now, Perth South doesn't have a lot of activity, we were kind of caught up. But under the Planning Act, there are certain regulations certain criteria you have to follow with circulating notice, so, at the last mail strike, there was, some used hand deliveries, but if you get a big mail out, that's a lot. And then to do courier is really expensive, so, they're working on clarifying if we can just do our standard, like posting the sign on the property and putting it on the website, if that'll be enough. So hopefully we'll get clarification of that this week, so.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, I have a motion that the clerk's update report be received for information. Moved by Councilor Van Ness, seconded by Councilor Mark Bell. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And I have a motion that the, report regarding council payroll April 2025 dated May 20th, 2025, including total payroll and $561.86 be approved. Motion to put on the floor. Council Corrigan, second by Council Martin. Discussion. Question.
What's
that? You have a question?
Well, I have something to point out, so Councilor Jeff Bell and I had this discussion, this payroll is a little higher, as I've let council know, because of the motion where council adjusted the base pay to the beginning of January, and lucky Jeff Bell got paid for January, February when he wasn't even here, so it's a little bit higher than, but it'll be adjusted on the next, okay, so just in case anybody had any questions, that's why. I made a mistake. See, time for payroll will be off my.
Well, you keep practicing until you get it.
Thank you.
Alright, ready for the question, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. And, Pepper Green.
So this first drain report is, this is the one that, we've just recently appointed, street associates to do the Herman and the Pollard drains. In meeting with the landowners, and, another petition was signed for a. I'm doing the wrong one. I'm doing the second one first. Okay, no, this is, the Hepburn Drain is the one that, Scott has been in this discussions with a landowner. Spirits have been involved in a lot of previous reports on this particular drain. This is just to upgrade the, tile system. We've already submitted to Upper Thames for their comments, and they come back saying that they have no, concerns at the moment, but would like to be kept in the loop, which we always do. So, the council could move this request forward, that, and then appoint whoever they feel would be appropriate for this.
Councilor Van Ness.
I would like to, appoint, Spreed and Associates, they've done work in this.
Okay. With that, motion that the council receives the request for drain reports for the Hepburn Drain Branch A and further. The council appoints Spirit Associates to prepare reports on the proposed drainage works. Moved by Councilor Martell, second by Councilor Jeffel. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next drain.
Yeah, so the second petition is in, the branch of the Herman Drain, I believe, yes. We recently appointed Sprits. They've had some on-site meetings for the Herman and the Pollard Drain. And this petition came out of that meeting that, landowner requested additional work be made.
Questions? Seeing none, I have a motion the council receives the request for drain reports for the Oregon and branch of the Herman Drain, and further, the council appoints Spirit Associates to prepare reports for the proposed drainage works. Moved by Councilor Van Ness, second by Councilor Martell. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Questions? Support.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A local business, Farm Mechanical, is hosting an open house, their business. As part of this open house, they are applying for a special occasion permit because they wish to serve alcohol, to the public, and under the Alcohol and Gaming Commission, they must receive, a letter from council stating that they feel that this is a municipally significant event. So the open house runs from 11 till 3, I believe. We've been working with the owner of the property because there are various things that need to be crossed off to make sure that he's got all of his criteria in place, and he's been very cooperative. So this is one of the pieces he is. Your questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Councilor Martin.
Are these new rules? Because there have been openings that served alcohol in this municipality in recent memory, and I have not seen, unless I've missed it.
So it sort of depends on how the business approaches their opening and serving of alcohol. There are specific rules if it's so you can hire I believe, like a catering service or whatever that has their own liquor license, and that they can extend their license to the event. In this case, the property owner doesn't have that in place as yet. He's working on it. This is a backup plan. So, because the event's on June 7th and we have, a short window of when we can help them, I said I would bring this forward. Some people may not act. I can't speak to that, but, I just know that, under the rules, this is one of the requirements if you're actually getting a permit.
Any further questions? Okay, I have a motion the council endorses customer appreciation event by Fire Mechanical being held on June 7th, 2025, and designates it as being municipally significant. Moved by Counselor Jeff Bell, second by Counselor Murray. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, anything else with that?
No, I think that's enough for today.
Okay, thank you. Fred. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair, if you give me the first one is the fire matter?
Yep.
Perth South completed the fire master plan, Luke and Biddulph has also done their own fire master plan. We are partners in the fire station in Granton. The Granton Fire Service is governed by a fire board, which is comprised of members of the councils from the two communities. There has been some discussion, and Councilor Corvo and Deputy Mayor Wilhelm serve this council on those boards. If the two of you want to speak, I'm happy to yield the floor, but otherwise I'll provide some.
Basically, I think, with the Luton Biddulph's, review, it was pointed out that, there needs to be some efficiencies in administration, and this is just one step of it.
Yeah, so the Fire Services Advisory Board in Luton has been tasked, and the deputy mayor has been working on that group. Has been tasked with advancing the fire master plan for Luton, and part of that involved an evaluation of the governance structure in Granton. And that, the advisory group recommended that. So you might not be familiar with fire boards, they're certainly an antiquated form of providing fire services in rural Ontario. I'm not aware of any other fire board. Other than that one at the moment. Typically, fire services are a department of municipal government, just like public works and you know, corporate services and so on. The outcome would be that fire services would, the frontline fire services would see no change. What would change is the manner in which the operational activities of the fire services are directed would come from one chief, rather than one chief in Granton and one chief in Lucan. There would be a single chief, there would likely be a station chief. But the governance of that service would be handled, as I mentioned, the municipal department, Lucan Biddulph. There are a number of issues that need to be parsed through. You know, we have a financial interest in that service. We will probably evaluate the scope and scale of service coming out to see whether there's an opportunity. Greater coverage from Granton, which could address some other cost issues in terms of delivery services. So this is here because the Lucan Biddulph committee needs the endorsement of this council to dissolve that fire board, because district as a partner in that fire board. I don't expect that's going to happen anytime soon. I have a rough draft in terms of reference of a group that's going into transition. And I think they've set the ideal date to be like January 1st of 26, to try and have a firmed up proposal together to have the councils consider. So, you know, we would need to reevaluate our service contract, and we would have a contract, say, with the Township of Lucan rather than with the fire board. All that to say, the direction from both fire master plans was to evaluate this delivery model. This is the first step in doing that.
Council Corbett.
Yes, I think it's a good idea that, we don't have the board anymore. There's a lot of, standard operating procedures and bylaws that have to be updated and in place, and I think it's a good idea that the chief reports to. But I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's probably time. It's not very common that there's fire boards anymore, so.
Yes, and I would add that, as Fred, stated, this is probably the first step in many steps down the road to changing how we will receive fire service from Living Goodall, whether we put another station up or whatever, you know, it's all on our own fire review, but, this is to improve their efficiencies and et cetera. Operating not only Lucan, but Grant also, so. Council Corbett?
Yes, we definitely need grant, and more coverage in our area would make sense, because I think the statistics from the last meeting were 11 calls into Lucan Godolphin and 1 into Perth. So if they had a bigger area, instead of us doing a bigger subsidizing, we would have more value on our way from them having a bigger area.
Further question?
I actually have a question.
Yeah, please.
So, based on this discussion, I took from the committee's, minutes that were provided. Because the committee is looking at dissolving 2 fire boards, so the Lucan board, and then the one in Granton, 2 boards, but we only have say in 1.
Yes.
So I think we need to adjust.
So the motion should specifically reflect the dissolution of the Godolphin Planetary Fire Board.
Yeah. So it should just say the Lucan and the Godolphin Blanchard.
Yeah, not both boards.
Yeah, we have no say in the other one.
Right.
That was my,
Yeah, so the motion should read that the Perth South Council concurs with the Lucan Godolphin Fire Services Advisory Committee that the Godolphin Blanchard Fire Board be dissolved at a date to be determined. And the rest is fine.
Okay, the recommendation is that First South Council concurs with the Lucan Godolphin Fire Services Advisory endorsement to dissolve the Godolphin Blanchard Fire Board at a date to be determined, and that the senior administrative leaders create terms of reference regarding a transition group. Okay, moved by Councilor Vanessa, second by Councilor Corrigan. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then, Dale, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, the other item here, Mr. Chair, is really just, an item for information, so the council is aware that BM Ross is reviewing these Sebringville matters, and as you see in this letter, the most submissions from Get Concerned Perth County are within the purview of the engineering proponent Azimuth Consulting, who will take that feedback and incorporate it into material received from the community and provide a response to any concerns or issues that have been raised. And that those pieces of correspondence will become part of the formal record of class environmental assessment.
Any questions? So do you want a motion to receive it or?
No, I don't think so.
Anything else, Chris?
Not at this time, thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
correspondence?
Nothing.
Mayor and update, council reports, we'll start with Council Marquette.
Nothing, substance for me. Thanks.
Council Parker.
I had a mobility bus meeting, it was, they went through a lot of, what do you call it, like, updating, employee harassment, like stuff like that, and, yeah, it was a really good meeting, but, nothing really to report on that, other than that, everything's okay.
Good, thank you. Council Bennett.
Pretty quiet, I think most people were on the land.
Council Jeff Bell.
Yeah, busy farming, had a couple of things, I want to thank Councillor Martin for helping me, MC the ladies' night that we had at the Optimist Hall a couple of weeks ago. Thank you.
It's well done, thank you, guys.
I also want to thank Ken because I had a good tour of the township with him on Friday. And I got I did that Ontario Clean Water Standard Care course on Friday afternoon, so that was good, and I guess, so this would have been, this week will be the 25th anniversary of Walkerton that led to this legislation, so it was fitting timing. We have our Optimist Club at Thursday night, talking to someone from Sebringville on May 24th at 11 a.m. Out of the Ashes is releasing the livestock, all the animals out into spring pasture. So if anyone wants to drop by, check out everything being set out of the barns, that's Saturday at 11.
Thank you. Council Mark.
So the Hearst House rec going well out here, the lawns look great, thank you, Ken, and for the mowing was excellent this year, no complaints. And the ladies' night was well done by the Optimists and well attended as always. There was also discussion being somebody, remind me. Brenda
Yes.
brought flyers. Cassie, I'm guessing it has made up beautiful flyers. There was a lot of interest and people have attended it. There was a lot of positive feedback around that, so it was nice to hear.
Good to hear. Okay, thank you. Well, I've been very quiet, so all's good, so we'll carry on with a report regarding the mayor's activity for the month of April 2025, dated May 20th, 2025, be received for information. Moved by Councillor Mark Bell, second by Councillor Corrigan. Any questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we'll move on to bylaws. The bylaw 14-2025 in the bylaw for drainage works known as the better drain be given first or be given a third reading and properly signed and sealed. Moved by Councilor Bell, second by Councilor Bennett. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. In bylaw 22-25 being the bylaw to amend the township of Perth zoning bylaw for property located at 2804 Road 134, beginning first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed. Moved by Counselor Jeff Bell, second by Counselor Mark Bell. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Notice of motion? Any other business? We certainly don't have any public question period. So we have a confirmatory bylaw. The bylaw 23/2025 being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution of the township of Perth South, be given first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed. Moved by Councilor Vanessa, second by Councilor Corby. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And a motion that the meeting does hereby adjourn at 7:20 p.m. Moved by Councilor Martin, second by Councilor Corby. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.